Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we are doing some 9 season 2009, finally starting off this game mode because I did see a comment asking me when I was going to start doing the 2009 content, and that day is today. I just needed to get around to it. I wanted to get a little bit more familiar with the game because I saw some of the objectives and I thought they looked quite hard, so I wanted to have a couple more days just to get up to speed with the game so that I wouldn't be absolutely terrible, because you guys know I'm not the best when it comes to the historic bikes. I usually struggle with those compared to the modern ones. But before we do get into the video today, I just want to say a big thank you for 5,000 subscribers. I will have probably done a community post before this video's gone out, but I can't believe it. I really do appreciate all the support. I thought we might hit it this week, but I didn't think we were going to hit it so early. I hit it last night on Sunday. I thought I might actually hit it sometime midway through this week, so I was actually quite surprised to see that, but it really does mean a lot to me, and welcome to the channel to all the new subscribers, because obviously we've gained quite a few as of late. But yeah, I just wanted to say that before we got into this video. But from what I've seen, basically in this 9 season 2009 mode, each race has about 3 chapters, so we do 3 different basically like historic events, very similar to the old games, and we get to watch a bit of a clip first. So we'll jump straight into it. First round Qatar, let's see what's in store for us.
It's time to go racing, and Casey Stoner is ready. He had an operation to fix his wrist in November. He's on an all-new Ducati. He was fastest at the pre-season test in March. And now he's qualified half a second clear of Rossi. But he does have one worry. This year the fuel allowance for the race has been cut by 1 litre. Ducati are not totally sure that their bike will make the distance. Stoner makes a lightning start, then improvises economy mode.
Beginning of the race, I was trying to run more corner speed and keep the bike flowing in a higher gear so we didn't use so much fuel.
With 10 laps to go, Stoner is 2 seconds ahead of Rossi.
We know that Stoner is very fast from the beginning. For one part of the race I was able to go like him, but not for all the race distance.
What Rossi doesn't know is that Stoner has been riding conservatively. With 7 laps to go and fuel enough in the tank, the Australian shows Rossi what he can do. Rossi's still fighting. 7 laps to go. Time to shake him off. In the next 4 laps, open the gap to over 5 seconds.
So here we are then. After that little cinematic, we're down on the track. There was also a prologue one that went quite in depth over sort of Rossi's career, and then throughout the 2008 season it covered a lot of that. But it was quite long, and I'm a little bit wary of having too much real-life MotoGP footage in the videos, because you can sometimes get copyright claimed for that. So I've just left in that little clip there about the Qatar race. But our objectives then today, we've got to win the race. That's the main objective, which I should be able to do, hopefully. And the secondary one is to build out 5 seconds to Rossi. We've got 2 already, but it's 120% AI, and we've seen in the career mode so far that they're pretty ruthless, especially if you run wide like that. So yeah, I feel like I'm not going to be able to do that. I've got to say though, so far, these bikes feel quite similar to the modern ones. They just feel a little bit lighter, a little bit more aggressive. I'm also trying to keep my eye on the fuel in the bottom right. I don't know whether that's minus 0.5 laps after the actual objective, because I don't think we go right to the end. I think we do 5 laps, and I've run wide again. I don't know if there's track limits warnings in this mode, actually, because obviously back in 2009 that wasn't a thing. You could pretty much do whatever you wanted, actually. As long as you didn't completely punt off another rider, you could basically get away with anything back in those days. So I'd imagine there's no track limits warnings, but it's a game, so might have had it in. But you can see I'm already in massive fuel trouble just after a lap, because it put me in power mode 3 by default. And so far we went to extend the gap, and I think I lost about 7 tenths to him. So Rossi's on his way. So I don't think we're going to be getting the secondary objective, that's for sure. 2:01, that's a terrible lap time at Qatar. Usually in the sort of low to not even mid 50s really, it's low 50s, so like 50, 51s, 52s, 53s. Obviously, that is the modern bikes, but I imagine the times are not too dissimilar, because those 800s, they were pretty rapid. I've got to say, I'm finding it really difficult to push on this bike because I just feel so unconfident with the front end. Just in general, on this game, the front end, especially on the GP bikes especially. The Moto3 bikes not so bad, but on the MotoGP bikes, I feel like I have no front end feel. It feels like I could tuck at any second. But we're relatively keeping the gap constant to Valentino there. 1 minute 54. So it's not too bad, but we're definitely not going to put 5 seconds into him because, well, we haven't put any time into him so far. Having done a couple of laps now, I would say the biggest difference between this and the modern bike is the fact that this doesn't have any engine braking. So that makes it even harder to stop, so you have to put even more pressure through the front end, which, as we know, is already a bit of a tricky thing to do in this game. Because I'm quite far down on my previous time, there's 7 tenths down, so even though that wasn't a great lap itself... Oh, okay, no, I have got a track limits warning, so you can in fact get a track limits warning in this game mode, which, fair enough, stops you taking the mick, I suppose, but it's not very accurate to 2009, is it? We're keeping Rossi at bay here, just about. He's not really making any inroads, so we should be able to beat him, because there's only a couple of laps of the challenge left. Because we're on lap 17 of 22, you can see I only had to do 5 laps anyway, and we're already on lap 3, so there's only 2 more to go after this, and provided we don't lose a second a lap to him, we should be pretty golden. I really like this game mode though, I think it's really cool, sort of the whole documentary style. I mean, the prologue was really cool. I did skip that out because it's pretty long as well, and obviously I just didn't really want to get copyright claimed. And I know some of you probably want to see that stuff yourself. You probably don't want to have it all spoiled for you, so it's fair enough as well. So I'll just be a little bit wary there, and it was quite long, so I didn't want to make the video too long. But it is a really cool mode. It's not something I ever would have expected to see. And every year I always ask for the historic events and the real events and stuff to sort of return, because I've always enjoyed them. That's why I was really excited when I saw this was come into the game. But the fact they've sort of done it in this documentary style as well just makes it even cooler. With Mark Neale as well, he made some of the best MotoGP documentaries. It really does add that little extra bit. So Rossi's still sat about 2 seconds away. I've used a little bit of Power 3 on this lap just to try and pull a bit more into him. And, well, it had worked up until that point, till the front end twitched. We almost wanted the gravel. That was super close. So, yeah, you've got to be pretty confident with these 09 bikes to get at least 5 seconds. So, sadly, it doesn't look like I'll be unlocking the secondary objective here. In fact, I've got to be careful, because he's only 1.3 behind now because of that mistake. So, if I make another mistake like that, we could have the doctor right up us inside. So coming up towards the line, then we're about to start our final lap. 1.3 is the gap. I would say that plus 0.3 is not the fuel for this challenge, it's fuel for the whole race. So I reckon we could probably use Power 3 just to make sure we manage that gap to Valentino, because we do extend on him on the straights quite a lot. Obviously we do have that Ducati power as well, so we would extend on him even in Power 2, I would have thought, because we should theoretically have faster pace than him. De Angelis has just done the fastest lap, so Alex De Angelis in 6th place is currently lapping faster than me on track, so that's interesting. So honestly, we're quite lucky that Rossi hasn't caught us up a massive amount then, aren't we? Because if De Angelis is lapping quicker than me, then Rossi ought to be as well, you'd think. Oh, these triple rights are so difficult in this game because the bike just doesn't want to turn in, and if you try and force it to fit, you'll completely wash the front out. It is interesting how the difficult parts of this circuit change every single year. It was the sort of the flip-flop in the last game because of the slow direction changes. This year that's not so bad because the curbs aren't so sticky, so you can actually run on the curbs a bit more. But this year it's the quick rights. But you can see we're massively underneath our time. We've put it up to 2 seconds again. So I think if we'd actually ran Power 3 this whole time, we perhaps could have put a bit of time to Rossi because we did extend the gap quite a bit there. But up towards the line then, we managed to beat him. But we only got the primary objective, sadly. But we did get the fastest lap back off De Angelis. So, yep, just one objective here. Finish your first place. But we didn't fail. So, for me, that's kind of a win. Because I'm not very good at these historic challenges sometimes. Sometimes I'll fail them on the first attempt. So, you know what? I succeeded on the first attempt. Didn't get the extra objective, sadly. But maybe that's something we can come back and do in the future.
Not a great start. Stoner and Capirossi are ahead of you going into turn 1. Then Lorenzo goes past. Fight back to second and go after Stoner.
So this time then, we're on the other side. We're playing as Valentino this time. And this time I am pretty aware that we can use Power Mode 3 throughout the whole thing, so it should be a bit easier. It will be interesting to feel how different this Yamaha feels. And right away, it is different, so that is a change, because a lot of the time in these games, the historic bikes tend to be all the same underneath. There's no difference, and I think the fuel load may have some of an impact on that, but this bike does feel a lot less nimble than the Ducati. It feels a lot heavier, which you would think actually would be the other way around. But I guess not. So we've got Lorenzo. Lorenzo's actually in my way a little bit, I'm not going to lie, which is good, because obviously we're struggling to pull away from Rossi in the last part of this challenge. So we've got a good run. Oh, I'm getting a bit of deja vu here. Back to the MotoGP 21 career mode when I had the AI on the wrong difficulty and they were braking halfway down that straight. It was a bit of a deja vu. But can we try and make a pass here on Lorenzo? Because he's definitely holding me up at the inside to turn 6. We go of Jorge. Oh, he tried to hang it around the outside. There was a little bit of contact there, I think, as well. I felt like the front went on my bike there. But we've got past him. We've passed Valentino. We are Valentino. We've passed Lorenzo. What am I saying? Lorenzo's trying to come back up the inside, but no, we're not having any of that. Up next then is Caparossi. Caparossi's had a good start in this race, hasn't he? Can't really remember a massive amount about 2009, but I don't think the Suzuki was that great of a bike. So Loris did pretty well there. We've run a bit wide. That's going to surely allow Jorge back through. Not quite. But it's this section of the track where I struggle against the AI. You see how much they pulled away. It's the first section I'm better. So even though Lorenzo was holding me up through there, I'm now losing time through here as I've run on the curve. So that doesn't help, does it? See if I can rejoin the track. Am I going to still be in front of Lorenzo? Yeah, I am. I don't think I gained anything from that. I should probably have got a track limits warning though, at least, because I got one as Stoner. So perhaps it's only if you actually cut the inside, because I did cut the inside very slightly when I got that one, when I was riding a Stoner. So they're actually pulling away from me a little bit on the straight. Lorenzo's up behind me. I'm wary of this dive bomb into the first corner, because I remember they do like to do that, don't they? And we're actually closing up on Caparossi a hell of a lot. We've gone a bit wide in. As long as you want that. You want to take a bit of a wider line in sometimes to just carry the speed through turn 1, especially on a Yamaha. You want to carry the corner speed as much as you can. It's still a little bit of a mistake, but we still gained on Loris, which is not the end of the world. I think I preferred the Ducati, if I'm being honest, to this Yamaha. The Yamaha, I don't know whether it is just the fuel load, but it feels much more cumbersome, much more difficult to manoeuvre, and it seems worse on the brakes, but again, that could be down to the fact that we've got a lot more fuel on board at the start of the race. In previous games, that's not really made a difference, but perhaps it does on these bikes. So on this lap, we didn't mess up the triple right so much. I've closed it to the back of Loris Caparossi, so hopefully I can try and get him on this front straight. I thought about moving to that last corner, I am going to be honest with you. Get on the power as early as we can, because that used to be an AI weakness. Doesn't seem to necessarily be the case, at least in this class. We've got a slipstream air on Caparossi. Should go flying past him. And now I can go after Casey Stoner. Oh no, that was it. That was it. Okay, so we only just did that one. That was super. I didn't realise that was the last lap of it. Oh, that was close because we had to pull a second on Lorenzo. Obviously, we didn't quite manage to do that, but oh, that was a close one. We almost failed that. On to the next one then. Not sure who we're playing as in this one either, but oh, that was super close. I didn't even realise that was the end.
Lorenzo slips back to 5th behind Caparossi and Dovizioso. He knows he can go faster. It's a confidence thing. Under new rules, the bikes are now all on Bridgestone tyres. Rossi and Stoner were already on Bridgestone in 2008, but Lorenzo was on Michelin. The Spaniard is still getting used to the Bridgestones. They behave a little differently at the limit, and it's a knife edge where the rubber meets the road.
Stoner and Valentino, they are a little bit stronger than us. They are more experienced with the Bridgestone tire, and we are still improving.
But now's no time to play it safe. 5th place is not okay. This is not going to plan. 4th on lap 2, 5th on lap 3. Get past Caparossi and Dovizioso. You need that podium.
Oh, we just hit Dovizioso straight at the back. He's going so slow. What is he doing? Well, we should be able to immediately get past him then, hopefully. Oh, he's braking so early. What is he doing? I wish they did this in the last one, but we're back on this Yamaha again then. It was also interesting to note why Lorenzo was weaving on the straight in the little cutscene. I don't know if you noticed, but the AI didn't know what it's doing. Lorenzo, come on, we need to get past Dovi here. Because Dovi's holding me up so much. This is what happened last time, wasn't it? Whereas when I was Rossi, Lorenzo was in my way, but this time it's Dovi that's in my way. I'm going for it into turn 6 at the inside. Aggressive. That was way more aggressive that time because there really was contact. We're up to 4th place then. Next up's Capirossi. We actually now know how to pass him because we did it already on this bike. This does feel obviously the exact same as the Rossi Yamaha. Obviously it is the same bike, but the same thing still applies. I still prefer the Ducati, even with doing a couple of laps on this Yamaha now. The Ducati felt a bit more... Interestingly enough, it just felt better. I think it might be to do with the fuel. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but this bike definitely feels a lot heavier. I'd have to try them out in shorter races with the same fuel level and see how it is. We did that corner a hell of a lot better than we did on the Rossi laps. And we're right on the back of Capirossi now. Don't know whether they're going around a bit slower on this challenge to make it a bit easier for you, but it is all 120% AI because I set it before I went into the first one. So we're right on the back of Capirossi. We've almost crashed there. That's how slow he's going. We're pushing Capirossi here down towards the last corner, and we've got past him before we even got to the last corner here. That is unbelievable. Well, we've got to put half a second into him. We get like 3 laps to do that, so I think, yeah, we should be able to do that. I would have thought half a second is not a lot. In fact, to be honest, we might be able to go after Rossi here. 54.3 on that lap. I think that was a little bit slower than my fastest Rossi lap. So you can see I'm getting used to this Yamaha now, the more laps we do. But yeah, I reckon we actually might be able to pass Valentino here and go after Stoner. Which is a shame that I couldn't do it a bit quicker with Rossi, because I probably would have been able to put a second into Lorenzo in that last one. We're all over the back of him now. Might have an attack into turn 6, because again I know they break nice and early. Out the inside we go. Our Valentino up into 2nd position. Again, they try and hang around the outside. They really do. They just tip in like as if you're not there. And you can see we've done the other objective as well. We've got over half a second to Capirossi, which you would expect now having another rider between us as well. But you can definitely tell that I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with this bike this time. I suppose I've done quite a few laps on the 2009 bikes at this track now. Edwards has gone down. I'm not going to be catching up to Stoner, I don't think, because he's 2.5 seconds up the road virtually. But if we can just keep that gap to Capirossi, that's all I need. You can definitely attack the outside curbs at Qatar a lot more than you could on MotoGP 21. That's something I definitely felt through that section just then. Seems like if I can get the turn in right, it's actually not too bad. I think it's because I'm trying to sort of ride like I would on 21. I think that pushes the front on this game. Whereas I think if I adapt my riding style a little bit, I think I actually probably could get quite quick on these bikes quite quickly. Because they're not too bad to handle. Like I said, I do prefer the Ducati a little bit, but I am warming to the Yamaha the more laps I do on it, that's for sure. Mika Kallio doing the fastest lap there. He's not even in the top 8 by the looks of it, so I don't know where he is, but fastest lap of the race to him. I suppose Stoner's in this economy mode at the minute, so he wouldn't be setting the fastest laps. I think we're about to start the penultimate lap of it now then. And this lap, 53.3, I think that's the fastest lap I've done so far on any of them. We are gaining on Stoner. We are pulling away from Rossi. We've got 0.6 over Rossi, so we should at least have half a second over Capirossi, you would have thought. And that's the gap I really care about, the Capirossi one. But I'm just watching the Valentino gap. As long as I keep that above half a second, I know I'm going to be fine, so that's my aim. I'm also just looking at Stoner in the distance as well, because this is obviously the sector where the player is better, Sector 1. That tends to have been the case for many years. I just don't know how to exploit the first couple of corners correctly. They take the wrong line to turn 1, and in turn 6 they're not very good through either, although I can't really comment when I've ran that wide. I brought that gap to 1.2, I didn't even realise. Sorry about that background noise there, not much I can do. But yeah, I brought that gap all the way down to 1.2, I didn't even notice that, so we are already gaining on Stoner here. Stoner in trouble. Nah, he's put it back up to 1.4. That's the sector where the AI gain on me every time. So starting the final lap of the challenge now, we just lost out to our fastest lap there. I'm pushing on too hard to try and catch Stoner here. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to end up losing because I'm trying to catch Stoner. I'm not going to catch him, I'm not going to take 1.3 out of him in a lap. This is not MotoGP 20. I can't do that anymore. I'm liking these bikes though. These bikes are quite fun, and I'm definitely warming up to the Yamaha now. I've kind of figured out how to ride it. I reckon that if I did the first 2 challenges again now, I reckon I could get the second objective on them both. Well, I'm lapping like a second a lap quicker than I was in the Stoner one now, so yeah, I reckon I actually probably could do the objectives now if I got to do that again. Because I'm feeling quite in tune with this bike now. Oh, Capirossi just crashed behind us, so that makes things a bit easier. But I reckon if I had one more lap, I could have caught Stoner. Look how much I'm underneath the time, like almost a second. On this last lap, I was spurred on, pushing, trying to catch the back of Stoner. Can we get a bit of a slipstream on me? Can we try and get Stoner up towards the line? We're not going to quite do it, but look at how much time I gained on that lap. 52.4. Well, I was really getting into the groove then. But there we go. We actually got both objectives in this one then. And that was Qatar then. So that's the first episode of 9 season 2009. Gotta say, very much enjoying it so far. Really liking the cinematics, liking the bikes as well. 2009 bikes, they do feel very similar to the modern bikes, I'll be honest. Main difference, like I was saying earlier, is engine braking, which I was starting to adapt to by the end. And a slightly different weight, a little bit more aggressive. But they do feel very similar to the modern bikes. The front end feels like it's pushing like that on the modern bikes. But yeah, really fun, and glad to see I could mix it with the 120% AI there as well. That's always nice to see, because sometimes I just can't. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy that video. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Once again, thank you for 5,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next video.